Hello and welcome to Emma's ESL English. As I mentioned, this week we are talking about punctuation. Yesterday we talked about the full stop, and I wanted to read for you today from the Grammarly website, and I'll put a link to this in the blog, of what it means. So Grammarly says a period, which is the American word for a full stop. So a period or full stop is a punctuation mark in English that expresses the end of a sentence and sometimes abbreviations. It is one of the most used punctuation marks and the most common way to conclude a sentence. And today we're going to talk about commas. And Grammarly says that commas are: while the period ends a sentence, a comma indicates a smaller break. Some writers think of a comma as a soft pause, a punctuation mark that separates words, clauses, or ideas within a sentence. Alright, as I say, I'll put those links in the blog for you. So, today we're talking about commas. We can use commas in a few different ways, as Grammarly said. In my article, I used commas to separate two clauses in a sentence and also to build a list of things within a sentence. So when I was talking about different characteristics that each character had, I often used commas to separate each characteristic. I also used a semicolon, which is a way trickier punctuation point, and most native speakers struggle with semicolons. I will put the link to an explanation for semicolons in the blog because that is for another day. But I still wanted to have it in my piece so you know that it can be used even in something like this. But I would say, as a non-native speaker, there's rarely a reason for you to need to use a semicolon. So don't panic too much about that. Most native speakers who don't feel comfortable with semicolons just never ever use them, and they got on perfectly fine. So don't worry about it. Okay, today I'm going to read the piece again, but this time I'm going to put the commas, the full stops, and the exclamation points in the piece as I read. Ready? Epic. This show is gripping. From start to finish, there are new twists and turns. The main bad guy is really super bad and good at it, and the main lead is spectacular. She is flawed. She has regrets, and she is bad, but she is so strong. She gathers skills, knowledge, she gets smarter with each knock she takes, and despite all the people, mostly men, who are trying to put her in her place, use her, mislead her, and frame her, she wins. Surrounding her are a delightful cast of misfits, enthusiastic first-year law students who are about to get a better education than they ever bargained for, and 3 convicted men who banded together and built a little restaurant empire, despite their rocky start. The male lead has an incredibly engaging background filled with secrets and mystery, and he is hopelessly devoted to the attorney who believed in him. He trusts her entirely, he trusts himself entirely too, and he believes in them both. His strength, honesty, pure heart and intelligence cause our female lead to start looking at her life differently, to start wanting to be better. When she gets angry, she gets strong, and she's a delight to watch. You'll start rooting for her, and she won't disappoint. The plot leaves no holes and is tight and clever. As the story builds, the level of corruption escalates and the game gets more dangerous and risky. It's an edge-of-your-seat drama you'll have trouble putting down. Don't expect to leave your house until it's done. It's really that good. Enjoy. Okay, this time, as I said, I was using the commas, and you maybe noticed when it came to lists of things. So list of characteristics: she is flawed, comma, she has regrets and she is bad, but she is so strong, comma, she gathers skills, comma, knowledge, comma, she gets smarter with each knock she takes, and despite all the people, mostly men, who are trying to put her in her place, comma, use her, comma, mislead her and frame her, comma, she wins. That is a very long sentence. I also haven't told you about one of the bits of punctuation that's in that sentence. We'll cover that tomorrow. But you can see how each comma is breaking the sentence into smaller, more manageable pieces. But it's also emphasizing that she has a lot of things. First, we're using commas. Second, we're using conjunctions. We've got but and in there in several places. So we start with she is flawed, she has regrets, and she is bad. But, so I've used that conjunction to separate my first clause of negative traits with my second and third clause of good, more positive traits. In fact, this sentence has 3 clear clauses. The first is her bad side, the second is her good side, and the third one is about the men who are trying to put her in her place. This is kind of long for a sentence, to be honest with you. It's not ideal, but this is a review, so it's a particular kind of writing that we're doing. And I wanted to really emphasize the positive and negative sides of this particular character. I wanted to keep a lot of her stuff in one single sentence. So there was a sensible reason why I chose to use this vocabulary and grammar in the way that I have. The second time we use this list structure, we're talking about the male lead. His strength, honesty, pure heart, and intelligence cause our female lead to start looking at her life differently, to start wanting to be better. So again, we start the clause with his characteristics, strength, honesty, pure heart, and intelligence. And then we explain what the impact of those characteristics has on our female lead. They start making her change her mind about who she wants to be. So in the second part of the sentence, I've got a lot less commas, only 1 comma in the second part of the sentence, because that's more description and describing exactly what impact those characteristics have on the female lead. I hope that makes sense for everybody. You can have another look if you want. Go back to what I put on the blog yesterday, which is the non-punctuation version of this piece. Have another look and see if you can figure out where the rest of the commas go in this piece. And tomorrow, I will show you the whole thing. Okay, any questions? You can drop them to emmaeseslenglish@gmail.com. Or you can pop them under the blog that I posted yesterday. If you want to check out the blog, it's at www.emmaeseslenglish.com. We won't have a blog today. We'll have the final one tomorrow. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.